Alright guys, so 1998 Honda VTR SuperHawk. They called them VTR 1000s, but they were actually 996 cubic inch, 90 degree V-twin, 6-speed tranny. I think, you know what, we're going to find that out in a minute. Being a big thousand, it's probably a 5-speed tranny. The last few Hondas I've had really don't like choke, so it's about 70 degrees out. Probably going to fire right up. See, that was with no choke at all. And on this bike, you see it's idling good. When it warms up, it'll idle about 1,000 RPMs, 1,100, something like that. Absolutely gorgeous day outside right now. Alright, see what she does. So one thing great about the big Japanese V-twins is the torque is just so nice when you're compared to riding, you know, inline fours. The power is always just right there, right off idle. No revving up. None of that, just gets down to business and makes power. So it's something interesting about this bike. No fuel valve. It just has a fuel light. So when you run low on fuel, that light will come on. 4-gallon tank. I think the range on this bike's probably about 150 miles. And something it took me a while to get used to on this bike was the way that it turns in. It turns in so nice. I mean, if you're not used to it, it almost feels like it's falling into a corner. Oops. What a rookie. Still cold. Very smooth bike, not a real radical seating position. I mean, I'm canted over a little bit, but the SuperHawk was kind of Honda's answer to the Suzuki TLS, which was not a full-fared bike, full fairings, a little more designed for the street. The RC51 is more of the race bike, full fairings, a lot more radical seating position, but this bike's, you know, comfortable. It's not sport touring. It's somewhat sporty, but I could probably ride this thing all day and be good. Just right there with the power, just boom. I mean, you could ride the bike all day long and not go over 5,000 RPM. Bike had normal signals up front. I converted to LED, and I had to put an LED flasher in it so that it flashes normally. You can see the flasher's on right now, and it's blinking normally. Didn't have to do a lot to this bike, just basically detailed it really good and checked everything, checked all the fluids. Gentleman we got it from was very good with all the maintenance. You kind of get going the wind kind of pushes you up a little bit. You're not leaning so much in your wrist. It's very nice, very comfortable bike for what it is. So I'm thinking that's 6 speeds. I'll try it again in a minute. So that's 2.5 grand, 60. No, 50. So it's interesting, the Big V twin bikes, they use the engine as a stressed member of the frame. So there's no down tubes going down along the motor. The motor is actually part of the frame and the swing arm connects to it. This bike has an aftermarket, forget the brand name, nice shock on the rear. It is on its softest setting right now. I had to order the spanner for it so I can adjust it. If you buy this bike, you will get that, of course. The bike needs nothing. Tires are good, brakes are good. It's only got 15,000 miles on it. It's very nice and tight. Something about the Hondas. See, I deal with a lot of bikes. It always seems like the Hondas, the older Hondas are just, I don't know how to describe it. They're just tighter. I don't know. Alright, so let's see how many speeds this bike is. Okay, so there's first. Third. Fourth. Fifth. And sixth. Okay. So a 1000cc bike with a 6-speed tranny. I'm used to dealing with older big bore bikes and they're usually only 5 speeds. So this thing's just loafing right now at 50. It's 5th gear, about 3,000 at 50 miles an hour. He just powers right there. Just roll it on. A nice bike. I'm so used to, I grew up riding the big Japanese 4-cylinders. Even the big ones, the 1100s. You know, if you're rolling along in 5th gear or 6th gear and you wanted to pass somebody, you usually had to drop it down a gear. Not really with this bike. You just kind of look, just boom, hit the throttle, boom. There's 70 right there. Beautiful day out. You know, I wonder, so we're in the midst of the global pandemic, kind of wonder how cops are right now. Like, if they catch somebody like me going a little bit above the speed limit, you know, I wonder how inclined, see right there, it's telling me I'm speeding. I wonder how inclined they are to pull you over. Who knows? I'm sure if I was doing 100, they would get me, but I don't know. Lovely. This is Lake Louisville. It is the, I believe, it's the 3rd biggest lake in Texas. Pretty good size. I love it, man. 3,000, 3,500 RPM. Doesn't even feel like the bike is on. It's pretty darn smooth for a big V twin. They really went a long way. Honda went a long way with counterbalancing and rubber mounting and stuff like that, because V twins are known for their vibration. I mean, ask anybody that owns a Harley. Now, this is a relatively small motor for compared to a Harley. Harleys these days, the average one is 1550. Some of them, the performance ones like the 120Rs, are 2,000, almost 2,000 cc. Bike has been completely detailed. I spent an entire day just taking everything apart, polishing it. It's super smooth. I mean, it looks showroom new. I really love the silver. You don't see a lot of these in the silver. And the chrome, the ones that were silver had black wheels. This one with the chrome wheels, it really sets off. Just right there, no downshifting, nothing. Great bike. You know, you get off one of the inline 4s or something else, and you're just blown away by the torque of this thing. But then you get off of this and go back to the inline 4s, and you just got to kind of adapt your riding style a little bit. So here, let's do a 6-gear roll on. I'm doing 60. There's 6 right there. Oh, there's 6 right there. So lugging at 6, just crack it. Oh, no, bird says no. Oh, God, bird strike at this speed would not be fun. Anyway, crack it on. Just boom, 60 to 70 like it's nothing. Big deal here, right there. Just crack it on. Awesome. Big thing with these bikes, and it's been addressed. Both things have been addressed, but two things. One, the cam chain tensioners on these bikes, the ones that came from Honda. Honda designed an automatic cam chain tensioner, and they were known to fail. And what sucks is this bike is an interference motor, so that means if the cam chain skips a tooth or even gets too loose, the valves can hit the top of the cylinder head and grenade the motor. So that has been rectified on this bike. It has the manual cam chain tensioners made by Krieger. It also has a finned rectifier. The stock rectifiers on these bikes were known to fail. So it has a finned one. The finned one keeps them running cooler. Both of those things have been addressed. So the bike really needs nothing. It's ready to go. If you don't buy this bike and you're looking at SuperHawks, make sure that that is done. And there's some ways to tell. The cam chain tensioners are kind of a dead giveaway. They have a shaft coming out of them with a hex nut. And then just if you look at the rectifier, you can see the fins on it. But you know, either if it doesn't have the fins on it, then somebody's constantly been replacing them, or they've just been really, really lucky. There we go, warmed up idle right about 1100, 1200. Trying to get the angle of the dangle on this mirror correct. There we go. All right. Oh. Let me tell you, I grew up in Southern California, and people, the way they drive in Texas is a lot different. Boom. 65, 70 miles an hour, just like nothing. Great bike for riding around in traffic. If any of you have noticed my jacket in the rearview mirror, I don't know if you can see that. I have a Ducati jacket on right now. It was given to me by my good friend Danny Boy O'Connor. Danny, if you're watching this, thank you. I love it. It's actually my favorite jacket. He also gave me a very nice field shear, I think, which is a great winter jacket. In fact, it's a Gore-Tex jacket. But this Ducati jacket is great. It's got added armor, not too heavy, not too light. Great summer jacket, fits me perfectly. There's a great road out here. This is 24.99. It's almost like a highway. I usually never make this light. What do you know? Look at that. I'll do a